Banazwski, Banazwski. I always feel as if I'm at a spelling bee whenever I give a reservation over the phone or order something over the phone, because I'm always asked, and how do you spell that? It wasn't always this way. I was born Michelle Miller, and all I had to ever do was let people know whether there was one L or two L's in my first name. But all that changed on December 5th, 2009, when my husband and I were married. And he had gotten orders to go to Naval Postgraduate School. So less than a month later, we packed up our belongings and literally traveled from coast to coast, from Charleston, South Carolina to Monterey, California. And he did all of the driving. I am a very tractable travel companion. I was asleep for most of the time. The sleeping began as a child. We would take very long car trips, and my parents would go to AAA and pick up a triptych, a little spiral-bound notebook with the route all mapped up from our home in Maryland to a destination such as Disney World. And the whole route would be mapped out for you. And the highlight of the road trip was flipping the page when it was time to get to the next page. And so I would be so disheartened when I would look and realize that we had 3 or 4 hours until it would be time to flip the page again. Now my brother would spend the time reading, but of course I couldn't spend the time reading because I would get car sick. So I would play with some toys and I would be so bored. And eventually I was so bored that I actually fell asleep. Well, when I woke up, much to my amazement, over an hour had passed by, and soon it was time to flip the page on the triptych again. And so I discovered this great secret. So I would play with some toys and fall asleep, and the time would fly by. It would be time to get gas or stop for food, and we would be at our destination already. Well, the one downside of this newfound secret is that to this day, I fall asleep in the car if I'm a passenger. I can't stay awake for more than 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm out. In fact, even if I'm having a conversation with someone, I will still fall asleep. And then I'll only stay awake for maybe an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll fall asleep again. So it's not good to be for me to be a traveling companion, because there won't be much conversation. Let's see. But we arrived here, my husband and I, on December 31st of 2009, which I thought was perfect timing, because we were in a new home, we were in a new place, I was newly married, and then the very next day was going to be the start of a brand new year. And I was so excited because I love traveling. I love meeting new people, eating new food, seeing new places. And so I just thought the timing was completely perfect. So we started here on the first of the year. Shortly afterwards, my husband started in the mechanical engineering program, where he's getting his master's degree. And he spends most of his time at school, and when he comes home, he's usually studying or working on homework. So in the evenings, I spend my time ballroom dancing. I started a few years ago when my brother and sister-in-law gave me some lessons for my birthday, and I loved it. It was a great stress release after a really hard day. It was lots of fun. I love music, and so I started doing it on a regular basis, and I had a lot of fun. And so I continued ballroom dancing while I was here in Monterey, while I am here in Monterey. And as I was dancing more, I got really interested in all of the technical aspects of how to point my foot or how to move my arm. And so my instructor talked me into a ballroom dancing competition. So I'm proud to say that this July I did dance in 9 different dances of the ballroom competition and placed first or second in each dance. Wow. I should also mention that there were only 2 people in my age and experience bracket. But that's a side note. I placed first or second each one. And I loved it so much that I decided to sign up for another competition on October 17th, which is only a few weeks away. And My husband and I will be celebrating our first anniversary this December, so 2010 has been a very eventful year for me. And then in about a year, we'll be off to a new duty station with new people, new adventures, new food to try. And so I'm so looking forward to everything that awaits me in the new destination because, as I said before, I love to travel. I just don't remember how I got there.